The Terai Arc Landscape Tal spans approximately 110 kilometers, stretching from the Yamuna River in the west to the Bagmati River in the east. The ecologically rich corridor includes the Shivalik Hills, the Bhabar region, and the Tarai floodplains. Tal extend across the Indian state of Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, and Bihar, as well as the low hills of Nepal. It is home of some of the most iconic national park and wildlife sanctuaries, including Jim Corbett National Park, Rajaji National Park, Dudhwa Tiger Reserve, and Pilibhit Tiger Reserve, as well as Nepal Bardia Wildlife Sanctuary and Chitwan National Park. This forested region supports a remarkable range of biodiversity, including keystone species such as Bengal tiger, one-horned rhinos, and the Asian elephants. However, with increasing human presence and pressure on natural resources, the region has become a hotspot for human wildlife conflict. In Pilibhit district, WWF data shows that tiger and leopard killed 48 cattle in 2011 and 37 in 2012. From 2018 to 24, there were 58 human deaths and 66 injuries, mostly involving tiger, leopards, elephant, and bears. These statistics reflect the rising tension in the region where human and animals need frequently clashes. The focus was on Pilibhit district in Uttar Pradesh, part of Terai Arc Landscape, a beautiful but ecologically sensitive region where tigers and leopards live in close proximity to farmers and villagers. The research question was whether the compensation paid to the family affected by human wildlife conflict, especially those who lost a loved one or faced serious injuries, actually helped them to deal with the long term social and economic challenges they faced after the incident. Before starting interview, I was very nervous, especially since my first one was with a father who lost his young son in tiger attack in the field. When we approached him, he said sharply, "You people come again and again and do nothing. Why should I waste my time on you?" His anger was understandable, which was obvious because he had lost his young son recently. I paused, gathered myself, and calmly explained that I had come from Bangalore just to listen and understand, not to make promises. He slowly calmed down, and we were able to talk. The moment made it clear how tough and emotional this research would be going. The study focuses on human wildlife conflict cases that occurred between 2018 and 22. More recent cases were out to avoid causing emotional distress to the affected families, while older cases were not included as memories have been faded and families' situation might have been changed over time. A total of 53 cases were identified with period including 37 injury cases and 16 death cases. Interviews were conducted with 33 families who were directly affected using a structured questionnaire without recording to ensure families felt comfortable. The aim was to understand their lives before the conflict, the struggle they faced afterward, and their experiences dealing with the compensation system. It was not easy process. Some families had moved away from the tragedies. Some were still grieving. In one particular village, tensions were high because the community had retaliated by killing a tiger, and cases were filed against the villagers. Gaining their trust, sitting with them patiently, and listening to their stories with care was the most important part of the journey. The findings were eye-opening. While compensation does provide some relief, it often fails to short of addressing long-term needs. Many families faced huge delays, struggled with paperwork, or lacked information about the processes. Even when they received the amount, it was often not enough, especially when the person who died was the sole earner for the family. Many families ended up borrowing money at high interest rate, falling deeper into the debts and facing long-term financial insecurity. In spite of the provision and payment of compensation, very often local communities still retaliate by killing wildlife and sometimes get into serious confrontation with forest departments officials. This shows that current compensation mechanism is not fully effective in reducing anger or building trust between communities and authorities. What I observed during research is that the community response to the conflict is often very different from the victim's family response. While the affected family may focus on coping with their loss, the broader community reacts out of fear, fearing they might be the next victim. This fear leads to the collective anger and retaliation, and they often blame the forest official for failing to prevent the conflict in their places. This research made me realize three important things. First, compensation often does not match the real long term struggles of the families. Second, bureaucratic hurdles and delays push already vulnerable families into even a deeper hardship. And third, if we truly want human and wildlife to coexist, we need to go beyond one time compensation and think about sustainable long term support to system. To ensure true coexistence of communities with wildlife, there is a need to think beyond just financial compensation to victims and their families. We need to actively involve communities in decision making processes, making them not just passive recipient of aid but real partner in conservation efforts. This journey taught me that the protecting wildlife is crucial, but protecting the communities who lives alongside them is just as important. If we want true coexistence, we must care for both.